Good evening, everybody. As you can see, it's just me, but that's quite all right because the stuff we're talking about tonight, I think it comes better than from the horse's mouth, as I guess as the saying is. No, but I hope that everybody is doing amazing. Man, Dima's going on, and looking at those pictures, I wish I was there. We talked about going this year, but if it follows suit, which it probably will, it'll be in New Orleans next year, which is only like 3 hours from where I'm at. So I will definitely be trying to get there. We'll see if Babe and Adam can make it as well. But yeah, it looks so good already. I mean, it's first day and there's already so much cool stuff going on. Oh man, but I'm sure we'll as we get going here, people will be chiming in. I see Babe's out there already. Babe, man, if you want to hop on, you're more than welcome to hop in here with me. You always are. So, but besides Dean, the only other thing really going on before we really hop into the topic tonight is that last Saturday, the Seasetting Institute has like regular like monthly Zooms and stuff like that. Anyway, the last one they were really talking about that Ocean Builders is up and running, talking about them. They're talking about Arctide. They're talking about a bunch of different stuff as far as that goes. But one thing they did talk about for a little bit, because they had the engineers and stuff like that, there was their underwater room on with the seasteading, with the Ocean Builders and their spars and stuff like that as they're putting out there. And they're talking about, it's going to be 10 meters underwater, so about the same depth as we're looking at. It's got circle like windows all around it, something along those lines. It was really cool. They're talking about the engineering of that, and I'm really excited to see that, especially when they start putting like coral outside around it. So I think that's going to be really, really cool to watch and really interesting to watch. I'm not sure how soon they're going to have that, but they had said they had the windows sitting there already. So I'm assuming sooner than later. I don't want to really rush into things. Wait, see if anybody else wanted to hop in here yet or in the chat or not, but you can watch it later. That's the nice thing about being a VOD as well. So why are we talking about the new year and the past year right now? Usually I think last year we were like the very end of the year when we did a recap and we talked about what we wanted to see next year. But I think in November, December is chaos for a lot of people. There's a lot of stuff going on. People are traveling. So might as well do this now. Adam, Babe, and I had a really a good business meeting Sunday, I guess it was. We went over a lot of stuff I've been thinking about and feeling, and I wanted to go into a really quick overview of what all that is, get feedback. I think I'm going to do a more in-depth one on the Patreon as well, really going into the nitty-gritty. But one thing I wanted to do first was look back on 2022, the good and the bad of what has transpired. So I think one of the biggest things that's definitely helped us out and is Babe hopping in here and helping us out with stuff. He's filled in multiple times for lives. He's been working on side projects as far as videos and stuff on those lines, which has really added another arm into what we're doing as far as with the social media and stuff like that. And we talked about what that looks like in 2023 with Babe as well. And we'll get to that here in a little bit as well. But his involvement has been huge. I think the live streams have really grown over the past year as well. We've gotten a lot more involvement. We got some really great ideas coming into live streams. We've kind of learned a little bit more. We matured in what we're doing with those, and we've got some plans for how to make those different going into 2023 as well. One thing is, we always have like a free for all. We have been partially that started with me not having a topic to talk about, and it just seemed to grow from there. So it's like 1 week. We're going to do them every other Tuesday like we have been for the last couple of months, but one's going to be a free-for-all, and one's going to be a themed. It may be a pre-recorded one. It may be a live. That's what we're looking at moving forward. So with that, the Discord channel is something new that we've grown more than I thought it was going to be. You're good, babe. You're good. And it's growing, and there's a lot more we can do with that. We've got some really interesting ideas going on in there as well. It comes in waves. We'll have a topic and we'll talk quite a bit about that, and then I'll die off for a while. So I encourage people, if you haven't gotten in our Discord, if you haven't joined that, it's a nice private knit community of people who are focused on that, and it doesn't get lost in the day to day like other social media platforms do. It's dedicated to that one thing. So if you're if once again, we had tried to do several years ago like a think tank through a Facebook group, and it just was it's all on me. It was horrible to manage. I did a bad job about it. Discord has really allowed that type of group to grow. So I can't talk enough about that. Um, Hey Marty, how's it going? We were just talking about you in the business meeting too. Most bunch of people's names came up in the business meeting. Ron came up, Glenn came up, Marty came up. We talked about quite a few people. So yeah, Marty, if you're just hopping in here, we're talking about recapping 2022 and what we're looking forward and what changes we're going to make in 2023. Because I'm not happy with where we're at, and we need to make some changes. I'll bet. Um, so one other thing was not to toot my own horn, but I was on the seasteading this season of their podcast again. Um, we always seem to do pretty well on there, and so that was going on. So we were up against Arctide and Ocean Builders, which are two of the bigger ones. They beat us out as far as on YouTube, at least as far as views and stuff like that. But we held our own. We did really good. We always seem to pull in a pretty decent group. Um, and so yeah, it was good. If you haven't had a chance, you can always go back and listen to that or watch that too. Me talking about the grandmother scale and what that means as far as having to live underwater. We also spoke with several investors this year so far. Not that anything moved on it, but we gained some valuable information from it, so that was good too. And we also made new network connections, which we should be, and we did. And so that's all the good stuff that's happened this year. To get feedback on it, I'm going to pull Babe in here, and he's going to talk a little bit, I think, or we'll just get his feedback. How you doing, Babe?
Hey, okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Awesome.
So, I was just filling people in there. Basically, the good that we talked about has happened this year. Did you have any feedback as far as what we talked about, or anything that's come to you since that meeting, as far as the positive that's come out of 2022 so far?
The positive that's come out of 2022.
We had a Jules trip, very big positive.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, didn't think about that.
Yeah. And like we always said before, that was a resume. That is a resume builder. It's a perk.
Yeah.
But it's
what we need. I think we need to do on a regular basis, stuff like that. Yes. Whether it's Jules, an expensive one to do, but once again, I think that next time we go back for a couple days and stuff along those lines, and really get to spend some more time, because just 24 hours isn't enough to do anything.
Oh no, you're just getting started.
Yeah. So, what else you got? Anything?
Positive for 2022.
Or we can start on the negative, because that's the next thing is where did we fail, or what did we not do good in 2022? So, I mean, that's.
Well, I mean, I know you already going to say this, just a goal of starting to build.
Yeah.
This year, so I'm certain you were already going to say that. And that's anyone who lived life knows that's life. There we are.
Pretty much.
You don't change the goal. It does not change the goal.
Yeah. Marty's in here. He's saying, "Hey, Babe, and what's up?"
Hey, Marty.
Yeah. On top of that, obviously the big one is we didn't even get construction started. But I think the other one is maybe they go hand in hand, but our social media presence really hasn't grown all that much this year. LinkedIn obviously has. We really transitioned more to that than in some other platforms. But we haven't gained a whole lot more contacts. I was looking at the algorithms just yesterday to see how good or bad it was. And it has, but it hasn't been that great. And so that's kind of part of the reason, as well as I think some of the changes we're going to see that I'd like to see coming next year. That I'm excited about. So,
as far as positives, though, too, your contacts on the other side of the world. I mean, you know, that was, and the live stream you did with Ian Koblik and
Oh yeah, yep.
you know so yeah, there was actually some really good things.
Yeah, I forgot about those. Yeah, once again, it's networking. It's all in who you know and getting the name out there, and it's brand recognition and all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I forgot about that. How do I forget about that? I don't know. Because then I had two. I had that one with Sylvia Earle and Jan Koblik, and I did that other one that was was a smaller one too. So yeah, you're right.
And
all right, so we had some. Good.
You did a live stream with Sylvia Earle and Jan Koblik. I mean,
yes, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be hard to top that one, except for doing it in person. But yeah,
yeah.
And Jan called me out by name too. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not worthy. But yeah, so okay, so 2022 wasn't as bad as I feel like it was.
Yeah, I mean, you got. I don't know how much of this has been said publicly, but I know you've got started blueprints.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Actually, I got a document I keep on putting off that he sent me just about a week ago. I need to go over and get back to him on as well. So yeah, it's a pretty lengthy document, so I'm not even sure what's all in it. I haven't even scanned through it all yet. So, but yeah, we'll build with or without blueprints. It'd just be nice to have them.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. You put it in better light.
Yeah,
fair enough. So let's talk about 2023 then. 2023, just 2 months ago. I think that the key word that I want to use for 2023 is intentionality. And the reason I want to use that word is because it's the one thing I want us to have with ASC is to have direct, intentional conversations with the people that are consuming the product and the people we talk to, whether it's investors or business partners or whomever. Some of the things that were brought up in the meeting was sometimes the message of who Atlantic Sea Colony is, and Adam brought this up, and you did as well. Is it muddied sometimes about who exactly we are. And I think that some of that has also gotten lost just by our social media presence, because it seems like oftentimes we're just a news reporting location, and there's nothing wrong with that. It was all for my idea of focusing and making sure that we were the expert in the field. And we have laid that foundation now for several years. But I think it's time to transition that to a more of a focus on ASC, the brand, and who we are over the next year. Like I told you guys, we'll try it for the first quarter, see what happens. But what that means is more ASC branded content. You and I have had some conversations about how that's going to look as far as some really cool ideas. I think if we can pull them off, but just more, less content, but more strategic content focused on ASC, showing off some of the designs, showing off just little things here and there, motivational things to help focus around ASC. Now, as I say, a clear explanation of who we are, what we do, and what we don't do. And that was Adam's point right now. People are always asking certain questions that don't necessarily coincide with what we're doing. We've had the conversations before, like, for example, people will say, well, why are you trying to do this when the oceans are filthy and stuff along those lines? That's not our focus. It's a valid thing to do, but it's not really where we're focused on. And that wraps up around our why, and who we are. And so the why that I have written down, which is the why for ASC, is to cause the ability to vacation, live, and work underwater as seamlessly and frictionlessly as vacationing, living, and working on land by designing and building one atmosphere underwater structures. The reason I use the word to cause the ability is because that's what we're doing. We are building the platform to allow people to do that. We are not here to necessarily build, to manage and run them. We're here to build that platform for people to have. Hey, Look, there's Adam
Adam and Glenn.
and Glenn. And Glenn, we were talking about you too this weekend. So you and Marty, and your both your ears were burning. Actually, it was Babe that was talking about you, and I. So if you want to be blaming somebody, it was Babe. Glenn, it's always good when we talk about you. So I'm not going to go into great detail. I mean, you can talk about whatever you want there. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that, Babe, from the meeting we had?
Shoot, I was sitting here looking, and I think I took my notes with me to the other room.
Oh, you're fine.
So I don't even have my notes with me.
Oh, you're good. I can say I mentioned that, you know, one of the things I wasn't necessarily going to talk about too much because it's really a big stretch for us and something we really haven't focused on yet. Is having some kind of accountability board surrounding us to help us focus, to help us maintain goals and dates and stuff along those lines. One thing we mentioned was that we've always been really good about starting things, but it seemed with social media and with different stuff along those lines. But it seems like after a month or so, it really dies off. And that's just a lack of accountability between ourselves and ultimately between me. So that's one thing that we're going to definitely work on better with the next year is that our social media presence is definitely going to change. Our live streams will change a little bit, but they're still going to maintain the same. They'll just be a little more constructive, I feel. But yeah, that's really about the really 30,000 foot view of what we're looking at next year. Obviously, all that enraptures in there the idea that we're going to be in a whole lot better place next year than we were in this year, especially with having the technology of the blueprints and stuff ready. The fact that having met with those investors has given us some direction and things we need to work on to be in the place we need to work on. Taking the whole year or a big chunk of the year this next year to focus on branding, on who ASC is, what we are, and to really cement to the public and to anybody watching what we're trying to do. I think there are going to be some big aspects that will change the tide for who we are and what we're doing. But it's really, I think a lot of it's going to be really focused on you guys to help us out in different ways too. And that was one of the things we were talking about with, especially like you, Glenn, that is what can you guys bring to the table and how can you help us out? And so that's something we're going to be talking about over the next couple of months and heading into 2023. Glenn's got a comment here. He says, you guys have a specific skill set and what you need is something that explodes your passion into the general public. 100% agree. And that's kind of one of the things we talked about too, which I've talked about multiple times is there isn't that media hype around what we're doing, for one thing. There isn't that thing to make it sexy. Sure, we can have the passion all day long, but it's only going to take that one video or that one article to get that out there, to get to the right people and it go viral or whatever to start the ball rolling. Meanwhile, we'll slowly chip away at it. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Glenn follows up here, be it a person, group, or whatever, right? And that's one of the things why I've focused so much on being on so many different social media platforms, is because we could focus and spend all of our time and effort on Facebook or LinkedIn or something like that. But by spreading ourselves out across so many different platforms, it gives us the opportunity of being involved in different segments and different groups, and hopefully, and somebody different hearing our message there. You said you're unsure of what your goals or final success will be. What do you mean by that? I mean, I understand what you mean about the goals or final success. But yeah, maybe we need to pull you into the gathering here, Glenn, and fill you in the inner circle. What's going on around these here parts? Glenn
Yeah.
follows up by saying, if you put that out there, you will find others who can help you advance. That's the goal. That's what we're hoping.
Yeah, that's one of the things we talked about, because we were talking about volunteers,
Yeah.
um, and approaching people to see if that's something to make the group, as he said, with specific skill sets. Well, let's bring other skill sets in there. See
Yeah.
who is willing.
Absolutely. So had something I was going to say there for a second. I forgot what it was, Elvison. That's the problem with doing it live. My brain slips and I forget what I'm talking about. But yeah, so there's we have some very knowledgeable people that are friends with us on here and stuff like that. Okay, Glenn, clarify here: business goals, actual timelines, and how you get there. Yeah, so absolutely, that's something I'm working on right now, and we'll be working with the guys here on, and other people we try to bring into the midst to fill in the knowledge gaps that we have, or the business acumen that we may be missing and stuff along those lines to fall ahead. So we may be putting that out there a little bit more to get some feedback from more people as we work on that, because I want that to be ready by the beginning of the year. So it gives me 2 months. Marty says his skills are just security consultant and a diver. Well, you know what? That's nothing to shake a stick out there. I definitely, I don't know about the security thing, but I dive. I'm not sure I'd call myself a diver per se, since I don't do it that often, but I know how. Babe is our resident expert diver around here. But no, going back to what Glenn was saying there, one of the things we talked about was we've set a precedent out here for constantly being out in the limelight talking about what we talked about. And it's huge risks involved with the whole thing too, because we're putting so much information out there about what we're doing. It's a twofold. It's twofold. I mean, so by putting it out there, we're saying who we are. We're letting people know what we're thinking. So there is no question, or there shouldn't be any question about what our goals are and what we're trying to do. At the same time, it allows somebody that with bigger pockets to come around and take that idea and run with it too, which I understand is a concern that we constantly battle of how much information to put out there and how much we hold back. And the thing with pulling back on our social media is, like I said, we set this precedent for always being out there. So we can't really pull back too much, because then, you guys aren't hearing from us. The message is getting missed. So it's going to be a balancing act to try to figure out where that sweet spot is over the upcoming period here. Glenn says everyone wants to be involved with a succeeding program that actually shows goals reached and what they can do to help you achieve them. I agree. It's easy to set goals, but if you don't have a path to them, they're just dreams at that point in time. When we tried setting goals a couple of years ago, we didn't go too crazy on the goals. It was just like we're focused on dollar amounts in the bank, how many followers we're having, contacting XYZ companies, stuff along those lines. We're just trying to figure out how to set the goals. So yes, I agree. It's a path to accomplishing the goal where I often find the hardest time dotting those lines. And so that's why, as we've grown and now we've got Babe on board as well, and talking to other people that hopefully fill in those holes of how do we get from A to B to complete those goals. So yes, that's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a goal. And Glenn comments here. He goes, he understands, but the more folks know about a mission, you will acquire more helpers. And that's kind of where I lean on the whole thing is, yes, also, if people were going to do this, they would have done it by now. If there's people out there with the bank accounts, they would have done it, or there's been enough people talking about it for long enough. Bruce Jones, he's been doing it. People along those lines, they have backing, they haven't done it yet. So my concern isn't as much, it's outweighed by the fact that your comment right there is I receive emails all the time from people who have found us on different social media, or hey, I'm a diver looking for work. Are you guys needing hired? I get lots of those emails. So we're getting out there. People are finding out who we are, and now it's just directing that energy into a source of actually making something happen. You got anything to throw in there, babe?
Oh, that's the first thing thought, when you were saying that is you build it, and then people will see that, and there's enough people that follow Cousteau right now, and what he's doing. It when people see it's a doable thing and like it, like the space programs, then you got so many people jumping on board. But until then, until it's just you're just slowly getting it to that point.
Yeah, and that's one of the pros with Fabian. What he's doing is, even though I'm skeptical of it happening, just because of how much he's trying to raise for it and the way he's going about it. The more publicity he gets benefits us as well, because we can piggyback off of that publicity for one thing. And if people are searching for that type of thing, we come up in the search results. So any news is good news, as far as it comes to underwater habitats, whomever it is. So I'm all about it. And once again, the ocean's a big enough place. That's why I've tried to play nice with everybody, because there's so much ocean out there. I think our business model is different enough from everybody else that I know out there that we don't really affect each other. In my opinion, I could be wrong. And obviously other people don't see it that way because of people I've talked to, but whatever.
Yeah, 2/3 of the earth is ocean. So, you've got a long way to go if you're going to run into somebody.
Yeah, and when you look at it from a 3-dimensional model, it's like 99% of the available real estate is ocean, because you've got Roy, Glenn's got some input here. Bruce is semi-retired, and his passion is to retire new people goal-oriented with a younger perspective that are up and coming. I agree. When I talked to Dennis Chamberlain several years ago, that was kind of his sentiment at the point in time. He's like, he's old. Because everybody in the industry is old. So he liked the fact that I was much younger than he is now, and that I had a passion for wanting to do this. But the years are creeping up on me too. So 100%, it's hitting up those younger people, and finding those younger people to bring into the thing, and to be the next generation, and to have that energy and the thinking outside the box sometimes to get this stuff done. And yeah, I've talked to Bruce a couple times over the years, not any time recently, but it's obvious that he isn't really focused on Poseidon anymore, even though he still throws stuff out there every once in a while about it. That's obviously not his thing. And Marty's got a comment here. He says, maybe we should start up the UEO from Sequest. And yes, Marty, I know what the UEO means. It's a United Earth Dosage. You're gonna question my Sequest trivia on my show, Marty?
I actually thought of that, Marty, and I can't remember. It was actually during our business meeting there the other night, and it was something you guys were saying, and I was like, I could see that, like a future of all the underworld that people were fighting each other. UEO comes in.
Yeah. I mean, maybe make a nonprofit called the UEO. Yeah. Paramite might sue us or something like that, but whatever. Marty, you can be the security of the UEO. How's that? How's it going, Adam?
It's going.
Make it Earth's oceans.
Yes. There you go. You got anything to throw into this, Adam, since you have been...
I honestly don't even know what all you've covered, so I'm just going to
basically, I've gone through the whole gamut now. I've talked about 2022, a really rough overview of the goals for 2023. Haven't gone into too much great detail on them like we did in our meeting. And so we're just talking about that at this point in time. Glenn's throwing a bunch of information here at us about our goals and how we have to have defined goals to be able to attract people we want, because otherwise people aren't going to come to arbitrary goals that don't mean anything.
Okay.
So I was kind of talking about that. So if you got anything, okay.
Not that I know of.
That's fine. And at this point in time, I don't know what to tell you. No, because really, I even with since you weren't here and I didn't know Babe was going to join, I threw out the olive branch to him if he wanted to. Otherwise, I was going to do it by myself, which is fine. Glenn wants to know how Adam and I got together.
We talked about that the other night too.
So
it was a moonlit night. They were both walking along the pier together.
Yeah, we decided we were better off as friends.
Please tell the true story.
Long story short, Brendan and my sister were friends first, and then I kind of hijacked the friendship. That's about it.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's the short version of it. This was all during a time when, like, when we first got. I'm talking like what late to mid 90s, like what 98 probably, 99.
Was it that late long ago?
Yeah, it was definitely before 2000. I know that because it was at my first house.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's probably like 99, give or take. Yeah. But anyways, like, and I know it sounds weird saying it, but I mean, like, you and my sister met in a chat room or whatever and became friends in the chat room. But during that time, so that was back in the days of the AOL Instant Messenger, and our family had one account. So, like, anytime that we got, like, if I wanted to talk to one of my friends on AOL, or my sister wanted to talk to her friends, or my dad wanted to talk to his friends, we had one account. So anytime we got on, like, we would end up talking to the other people because they thought it was us. So I ended up talking to Brendan a lot and just kind of been one of my best buddies ever since. He was in my wedding and all that. So he's my second daughter's godfather. So.
And Glenn, Adam's not that old. I am.
He was friends with my older sister, so like that's why there's an age difference.
Yes.
But yes, I am a lot younger than these two. Like a lot younger. Like,
I wouldn't go that far.
I am like so much younger than everybody.
Yeah, you were 5 when I met you.
You that kid, I was not 5. 9, maybe.
Anyway, it still makes me sound really creepy, dude.
Well, like that's why I had to establish that you were friends with my older sister. Like you weren't just seeking out a 9-year-old Adam.
All right. This conversation's done.
Anybody want to go underwater?
So anyway, yes. And so I mean, we fell off there for a while. We didn't talk there for a while, and then I don't remember why we started talking again. I think you were bored. Anyway,
it was we're not talking.
I don't know.
You probably didn't care, but
that's true.
I think I always talk to you.
So yeah, then Adam always knew about this project because it's been around as old as he is.
I remember Brendan's like GeoCities webpage for Atlanta Sea Colony.
Yeah. If I had that artwork still, that nice polygon artwork that I had on that thing, that was some rough stuff. Yeah, I think Baby I talked about this before, but yeah, I had do you remember GeoCities and Angel Fire and all those websites back in the day? Or are we still too old for that? Yeah. All right.
I don't know.
Anyway, back in
was it GeoCities?
Yeah, it was GeoCities. GeoCities 4413 something, Area 51/4413 something. Anyway, they were free websites you could build back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and they were just free place setters. It'd be geocities.com/Atlanta Sea Colony or whatever like that. And that's how I started out. Before I bought the domain name Atlanta Sea Colony and started moving it all over. But I had these really rough designs of what Atlanta Sea Colony was back then. And that's actually how I first started talking to Bruce Jones was back then. Because that was right when U.S. submarines, right before they started talking about building an underwater place. So that's how old it was.
I was hoping I could find it on the Wayback Machine, but it's not.
No, I've looked forever for it. So yeah, Atlanta Sea Colony has had a presence on the internet for close to 25 years, in one way or the other, whether it's GeoCities or not. So, which a lot of time was networking, because even back then there's Yahoo news groups and chat groups that there were several guys I talked to back then that I wish I still could get a hold of that had some really good ideas and had some cool ideas. Honestly, we were all looking at giant spheres back then and bubbles and all that kind of stuff and how to make that work. So it was one of those type of things, but concrete domes, everything. There was like 3 or 4 of us that were just really talking like on a daily basis about that kind of stuff.
It was kind of, because that was like before social media, really. So like,
yeah,
that was how you kind
of
met people. Is just like that was your profiles that you had a GeoCities website or something like that. So like, I had one, and it was just like, hey, this is me. Like it didn't. There was nothing to it. It was just a website about me. It was just me throwing my personal information out there as a kid for the world to see. But I had one for my drawings. I remember you helped me build a website that I used to upload all my cartoons and stuff on.
Yep. So anyway, but yeah. So anyway, with my real life 9 to 5 kind of pushed the dream aside there for quite a while, and then came back around to it. Said, hey, I either need to put up or shut up. So here we are. And Glenn's got a comment here. He's like, you two came together for a reason and followed your vision. Don't stop, learn and define your goals and put them on deadlines, strive to meet them. That is 2023. That is what we're looking at doing, man. He follows up by saying, you have the basics on social media, now sell it and get it done. Yes, sir.
He said it like really angrily. He's like, get it done now.
Like a crotchety old man.
Yeah.
Marty says, have a rough drawings of a shallow water home I designed around the, I was involved in the idea of Bruce Jen's Atlantis Resorts. Very cool.
Yeah, one of the things I'm sure you already covered it, is it's like, that we discussed in our meeting the other night is like, that we'll still have a social media presence and still be active on that, but it's going to eventually turn into more so like, we're going to keep it focused on the project. And, cause like right now I run the social media for the most part. And it's, if I find like good news articles and stuff that are related to like ocean tech and stuff, I'll post it. But, we don't want to get confused for being like, just like a ocean news group, and, it's nice discussion points, and I try to keep it stuff that's somewhat related, maybe like, alternative energy and stuff like that. But yeah, putting more time and energy into the actual project and then than some of the other stuff, but all while still keeping that active. But because like Brendan, you said, like some of our best stuff has come from having these interactions with, people like Glenn and Marty here, and people that have popped through and interacted with us through the live streams or people on Discord and stuff. So we still want to keep it active, but put a lot more energy towards the other stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing, is the pull back to focus that energy into a productive telling of who we are and what we're doing, and not so much all that time spent on finding articles that they're fun and stuff, but they don't move the needle any for ASC. And that has been my mistake in focusing your energy so much on that over the past couple of years, versus that. Glenn, it's fluctuating. Right now there's only 3 in here right now, but it fluctuates. It depends. What we end up seeing is, especially on the YouTube and stuff, is the replays later. Now somebody else just joined. We get quite a few on the replays later, and really when I turn into a podcast, we get a whole lot more listens on the podcast too. So, which I try to do on the ones like this one will be a podcast. So really between the different formats, it just depends. And then we sometimes break these off into little video clips for TikTok and other things like that. So that's something we're going to focus on more, is when we have valid points in these lives, is to make little video clips for that, because the kids these days, they don't want to spend time watching a long video. They want those 15-second clips.
You gotta get
Adam,
the
your
information
generation, Adam, just doesn't.
No, I think it's even the generation before me now.
Yeah, it is.
Even while I was just a little bit ago, we had to take my oldest daughter to dance, and me and my younger daughter were sitting there waiting. And during that time, she had her little tablet, her phone, or whatever, and she was making videos acting like she's on YouTube and stuff. We've never uploaded them to anything, but she likes to do the like, "Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. Hit that like button." It's like no one's watching it. So yeah, kids these days.
Babe, you've been quiet for a while. You got any knowledge to throw at us here?
Oh, just something that's as far as the intentionality, going through past podcasts and live streams, people that you've talked to that can help focus with that intentionality, people that may not have kept track of. Just something to consider if there's someone have the resource that would help.
Yeah, that's good. I agree. That's good. Yeah, I have to start doing that. I was scrolling through YouTube videos the other day, and I just realized we've got a lot of videos out there now, especially because we do this live so often too. So there's a lot of information out there. I'm not saying it's all valuable information, because a lot of it's just us talking about nonsense, but it's still out there. Glenn's got here. Dedicate your time to what gives you more results. I'll give you my number. You can call me anytime. I'll help you with whatever I can afford. You may want to think about certain programs that take your time. Yeah. I'll shoot you a message after this, Glenn. But that's kind of what happened is that after I think I told the guys this, but after the last conversation with the investors, it really put me into like a slump. Is like, what are we doing wrong? Even though, I mean, I haven't talked to tons of investors, and Dennis Chamberlain even said you'll go through like a dozen investors before you find the right one. So I'll just keep that in the back of my head that this investor is probably not going to work out. But it's like, what are we missing? What are we not focusing on properly? And where are we spending our time in a wasteful manner? And so that's really what got me thinking about, we got to make some changes. We need to do things different. And I need to free up Adam's time from just posting fluff pieces of news articles to really working on a dedicated ASC based stuff. And Babe chimed in there too, as far as what all of our focus is this year is to seek funding. That has to be our goal. But I say one of the things the investors we talked about, he goes, I can throw the money at you all day long, but if you don't have the right structures and the personnel in place to make it happen, it'll be a wasteful amount of money, which I wholly 100% agree with. That's one of the things why several years ago, when I was having some really good conversation with investors then, I'm glad it didn't work out, because our business model wasn't in the right place. I wasn't in the right place. So yeah. And yet you're right. Dennis has been there. Glenn wants to know, do either one of you speak business decision stats? Give me an example of what you're actually talking about. My background is I was the COO of a $1 million IT company. So I was involved in most of the business decisions at that place. I helped build that company from the scratch with the owner. And then I've done my dad's business from ground up as well. So I guess my question would be, what, like you're talking about like KPIs and stuff along those lines, that was brought up as well in the business meeting. So I'm not sure if that's what you're getting at or not. I'm not saying I'm good at any of this. I'm just saying I've done it. Numbers that document policies and procedures. So yeah, so that's one of the things I try to focus on is policies and procedures and drive down, especially we don't have too many numbers out there to really focus on this time, except for social media, what money comes in from Patreon and other donations and stuff along those lines. So we don't have tons of numbers to focus on at this point in time, or KPIs to keep a approach on. But yes, I do watch those numbers and try to figure out where we're failing. And that, once again, that's part of why this is where this conversation we're having right now. So I'm not happy with them. And basically, something has to change, and so that's why we're here. And once again, maybe you're always your worst enemy and you're roughest on yourself. So I'm always the hardest on this thing because it's not where I thought it would be. When I talked to Dennis years ago, I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago, and I said, yeah, this won't be a big deal. Because in my head, it was like, all right, all I have to do is find X amount of people to give X amount of dollars. It's not a huge amount of money. This should be easy to do. It's not that easy. And what we found out is people want to see something. They want, like you said, they want results, whether it's goal setting or whether it's a physical thing. And most of them want a physical product. But we can't have the physical product without the money, which is where the goals come in. So I think I'm doing a lot of talking tonight. More so than usual.
Yeah, you're right.
So I don't know if I answered your question there or not, or Glenn. And maybe it's one of those things where you and I just need to talk.
Talk.
Anyway, I don't know. I've exhausted myself with all this talking. So, Adam, I need to pick up the slack there. Glenn's got one more thing here. Not one more thing, but good managers and supervisors are always harder on themselves. That one makes them good. I hope that's true. And not that just I'm a jerk, which I guess there's always that possibility too. But Adam calls me a jerk all the time.
Yep.
No,
but I've known him long enough. I can.
Is that true? That's true. I like open, honest communication. I want the truth to come out there, even if it hurts my feelings or offends me. I think that's more important than yes men, yes people involved in anything, because I'm not going to get anything done with that.
Yeah.
No, Glenn, you're good. Like I was just saying, I have a very tight comfort zone, and I need people to stretch that and kick me out of it. Again, I think that's part of the reason we're not where we need to be is because of my comfort zone. It's one of the things where I've said, and I had coffee with financial advisors last week, and he was talking about he just wanted to meet just about ASC and find out what it was and what we're trying to do. I said, really, I know my weaknesses. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. And one of them is my comfort zone controls me a little bit too much sometimes. And if there was somebody that came around that says, hey, I can take this business, I can run with it, I would still own the thing, obviously, and it's like that. But I would gladly want some kind of a manager or somebody like that to be able to take what I'm trying to do, the vision, and run with it. I'm not giving up my baby. I don't care what anybody says. I'm controlling this sucker, but to help out from the business standpoints of where I lack and where my weaknesses are, because I feel I'm the one ultimately holding a lot of this back. And if either one of you disagree, I'm kicking off the live stream right now.
Do it.
Glenn says, after January, we get together. Either I can come out there or no. I was told in the meeting the other day. I said I'm seeing Glenn next year, so I will definitely. Because like I say, I want to come down and see the Starship launch from Boca Chica anyway, which they're already talking about December maybe for the first launch. So next year, 100%. No, I get it, man. But being Santa, I'm sure you are booked out till December 25th. I guess I could just always come sit on your lap and we could talk ASC in the mall right there, and I'll make all the kids wait. Like, hey, this is important right now.
This is a business meeting.
That's right. Punch the elves. But no, I agree, man. I want to pick your brain. I know Santa starts next weekend there. That's like way too soon.
No.
That's wait. What, you don't think it's too soon?
Oh no, not at all.
Oh gosh,
You're one of those
people
freaks that enjoys Christmas for way
you
too
people
long.
are sick.
Yes,
Sick
I am.
individuals.
I've already got a Christmas tree set outside that's lit up.
Wow.
I
No,
think
that's,
My wife
we
doesn't like it.
should have
That's
really reconsidered having him join our group.
do you even
Like,
celebrate Thanksgiving?
Yes, absolutely.
He's thankful that he got his Christmas decorations up early.
Exactly.
My wife is adamant about getting that stuff up the day after Thanksgiving, and even then, I think that's too soon. I cannot stand Christmas. I am a huge Grinch when it comes to that.
You're a mean one. All right, guys. Glenn, I'll shoot you a message. I think we've exhausted myself. No, the conversation for tonight. Let's see. Bonnie's Dance Academy in the Woodlands is the first gig over 1,200. Holy cow! Wow. Yeah, no. Glenn says Adam needs a hug.
No, I'm good.
See, I love kids. I the kids love me, but I don't like being touched. I don't like being hugged. I don't like being sneezed on. All that kind of stuff. It's like I could. No, I'm out. I'm glad there are people out there like you, Glenn, that can handle that kind of stuff.
You would have been a good Santa during COVID when everything had to be done over Zoom.
100%. I love COVID from that standpoint.
And then you can hang up whenever you want too. You can be like, oh, and then just hang up.
Yeah.
Let's move along here.
When our church implemented if you were at the building, you had to keep 6 feet and stuff along those. I'm like, thank you. Well, can we just keep it this way for the rest of the time? Because this is the best thing ever.
And there's a lot of people that enjoyed COVID because it was just yes, I don't have to go out. I can stay home. People bring stuff to my car. I don't even have to go in the store anymore.
Yep.
Anyhow.
All right, Adam, bring this bad boy home.
Bring it home. All right, guys. Well, so 2023 is coming up. It's going to be a good year. Got a lot of things planned, but until then, let's go through what we've always gone through. First and foremost, AtlantaSeaColony.com. That's where you can find all of our socials. I'm talking about the Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. It has the link to our Discord page. I also want to make sure we shout out the Discord page. We've kind of hit a plateau with it, so it's just like we're looking to get it refreshing, get more people in there. There has been a lot of discussion in our thread about alternative energy and stuff. So that's always been an interesting discussion going on. But so, join our Discord and just join the discussion. Also on the website, there's a resource section. So if you want to, Brendan, I think between Brendan and I think Babe even contributed some of them, didn't he? Some of the books and podcasts. Oh, okay.
It's been so long, I don't remember. It's been so long, I don't remember now.
Anyways, so there's books, podcasts, and all that stuff, recommendations on that page to check out. So go ahead and do that. Otherwise, ways you can help. Let's talk about ways you guys can help. First and foremost, maybe not foremost, but get yourself some merch over at AtlantaSeaColony.com/merch. The patrons right now can have access to our other store that we're kind of tinkering with, but in the meanwhile, we still have some good solid products here at the current store. So if you get a chance, I mean, they make great Christmas gifts. I mean, who doesn't want to give all their family members like an Atlanta Sea Colony mug or something? So get all your Christmas shopping done in one place. Do it at the AtlantaSeaColony.com store. Also, so if you want to donate, paypal.me/AtlantaSeaColony. If you want to make a one-time donation of any amount, you can do it through that. So if you have your PayPal app or whatever, just look us up on there, Atlanta Sea Colony, and you can send over $5. You can send over $5 million. We'll take either. We're grateful for any help that we can get. I mean, that 5 million would be pretty cool. I mean, we might not have to wait until 2023 to get started. So, I mean, as soon as that check clears, we're good to go. Speaking of such, did you go buy some Powerball, Brendan?
No.
Okay, I mean, seems like a good business investment, but whatever. Patreon.
Man.
Oops, sorry. Patreon.com/Atlanta Sea Colony. Current patrons, we got Edward House, Brian Acosta, Matthew Cathy, we got Martin Reese, and Espe Pied, and yours truly. So if you want to be able to donate, a monthly donation, that's a great way to do it. Like I said before, that helps us do things like this. It helps us as far as like advertising. It helps us with any expenses we got to do. It might not be able to directly, as of right now anyways, help us do the actual construction, but it helps us get this stuff to reach out and continue to build our community and all that. So we appreciate anything you guys can do with that. Plus, you get a little bit more access to things ahead of time. We always try to approach the Patreon community ahead of time on some things. So other than that, guys, I don't have anything else. So, sorry I jumped in late, but I'm sure you guys got everything covered. But another 2 weeks. Brendan?
Probably, yeah.
Probably. So you'll get that update. Babe, thanks for keeping Brendan company and keeping him.
And Glenn says that if he wins the lotto, we can have 5 million.
5 million? All right.
Thank
Cool.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Glenn.
Appreciate that. If I win the Powerball, I'll donate 1 million.
Okay. I mean, beggars can't be choosers at this point in time.
You're
So.
like, really, Adam? Just one? Anyways, guys, thanks for joining us. Thank you guys for jumping in here. And we will see you.
Hey, Marty, definitely. We'll do.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye, guys.